the mysterious, elusive tones of the Mesa Boogie Mark V 90-watt head. Let's try to crack the code. Hey, thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed that little ditty. So here we are at the front panel of my Mesa. First things first, sorry if the audio quality is kind of bad. My only decent mic is an SM57, and it's currently on this cabinet right here. So yeah. I have kind of my basic tone dialed in here. This is pretty much how I like the amp. I'm using my 6-string right now. And even though they're the same exact pickups that are in my 7, for some reason 6-string versions of pickups compared to 7s are almost always different. I don't know if that has something to do with the winding or what, but they are. So this thing is a little more mid-heavy. So I set this amp up a little differently, but here we are. And now, I think what we're going to do is start at the beginning, and that is put everything at noon. I'm going to leave the master down just so I don't kill all the other people in my apartment building. So here we are, and if you notice, 1, all the low end's gone. 2, there is no tightness whatsoever. And that is, well, there are a couple reasons. So if you look at the main section right here, the EQ, the first thing you need to know, or at least the philosophy that you should take with that, since the EQ is before the preamp, kind of treat it like an overdrive pedal. So the graphic EQ is the actual EQ on the amp, and the overdrive pedal is that preamp. Now, if you keep that in mind, usually that means cranking down the bass to keep things tight and not flubbing out on the input. So if you notice, once I turn down the bass here, a little less flubby, but also there is no bass naturally. So we need to add that back in with the graphic EQ. So we do that. Oh, there's the bass, huh? And that's a pretty cool lead tone. You can work with that. But really MIDI and honky. And that's kind of the character of this amp, and that's why you see everyone carve it out in the graphic EQ. Like everyone uses that V shape because this amp is just so strong in the mids. So if we drop the mids on the graphic EQ, now, all right, we're starting to sculpt our tone a little bit, I guess. A little veiled, though, I'd say. So what I would do now is try to add detail. So the two sliders on the right, the 2200 and 6000 hertz. 2200 is good for the overall sparkle, or bite, I guess would be a better term. So we lifted that veil a little bit. Oh, sloppy playing today. So we're going to add a little more 2200 and then push the 6000 a little bit, or I think the 6600, to add that air and then really kind of get that sparkle. And now we have a tight Mark style tone. I'd drop mids a little bit in the preamp EQ. Yeah, maybe about right there. Now, if you notice, it's not too gainy. I could work with that just because I don't like too much gain. But the weird thing about this preamp EQ is the treble and the gain knobs are tied together. So if you boost treble, you get more saturation naturally. So if you notice, I'm going to leave the gain at noon. Now I'm going to add some treble. So yeah, there's more gain, or more saturation. So now I'd push the gain just a little bit. And we're nearly there. And from there, it's just kind of tweaking a little bit per guitar. I'm not exactly sure how I had it set up beforehand. I might push presence a little bit. But no, I like the tone how it is. And it's that easy. So if you start everything 12 o'clock, just straight line, drop bass until it tightens up a little. You'll lose all the bass in the amp though. And then you add it with the graphic EQ. You'll get some bass and you'll notice the amp's super honky. That's when you drop this 750 slider until you get a nice shaped tone, and then you just add treble on the treble sliders until you feel that it is cutting through, and that veil's gone. Yeah. Yeah, so this is my first video. If you noticed my kind of tooling around with all the different editing and Final Cut or whatever, it was kind of my experiment because I've never really edited like a couple videos before, but never for YouTube, that's for sure. Outside of like just posting little songs here and there. Anyway, if you have any suggestions on what I should do next, what I could improve, probably the audio, sorry about that guys, let me know. And if you have better settings or better ideas for the Mark V, channel 3 in particular, leave it in the comments, and then thumbs up if you can. If not, that's cool too. It was nice of you to stop by, and I'll see you guys next time.